What's up, guys? Chris DeGuido back with another episode of the DeGuido Report, and we got a little bit to talk about tonight. Got a few things to talk about tonight. So I was at work yesterday, and the Kate Steinle trial was going on. If you don't know what's been going on with Kate Steinle, is she was this young woman who was in San Francisco. She was, I believe, she was just walking up and down a pier with her dad. She's very, from what I've read, she was pretty adventurous. She would travel around a lot, and well, I think back in 2015, she was shot and killed by an illegal immigrant in San Francisco, and she died in her dad's arms, and it's very sad. And they just came to a decision on the trial, and the verdict was that the illegal immigrant who shot and killed this woman was acquitted. He got off not guilty. And this sent everyone into like this anger, and I think it's justified. I was extremely angry. It's actually, I don't even understand how an illegal immigrant can come in here, shoot a citizen, and walk away not guilty, not even involuntary manslaughter. And so the case that Zarate had, which was the convict, the murderer, he said that he found the gun wrapped up, and he said that he fired the weapon and the bullet ricocheted. He had no intentions of killing Miss Steinle. But even in a situation like that, involuntary manslaughter at least, and he didn't even get that. I believe he has charges for possession of the firearm. I gotta look into that as far as an update. But as far as murder charges, he got off scot-free, which is appalling. And like, I talk to people all the time who disagree with President Trump's immigration policies, and people who tend to disagree, people who go to my school, people you may talk to, with your friends, or people even in the mainstream media, like, they build this case that illegal immigrants are just perfect little angels. They just want to make a name for themselves. They want to escape their harsh reality and come to the States and start a beginning and start new and start fresh. And that's not reality either. I'm not going to sit here and say that every single illegal immigrant is a convicted murderer and rapist. But the fact that they're in here illegally should be enough for you to say that's wrong. Whether they want to escape Mexico or Syria or wherever they're coming from illegally, Canada, I don't care. The fact that they're here illegally, the word illegal should trigger something in people's brains that go, yeah, I mean, either way, it's wrong. But no, what happens is, and it's mostly on the left, is they turn these lawbreakers into sympathy cases. Instead of saying this person is here illegally breaking our laws in our domain, in our country, instead of saying he should be deported back to where he's originally from, they make the case of, oh, he's just trying to make a better life for himself and his family. He just wants to escape Mexico and start a new life here. Which is why we have all these sanctuary cities. And these sanctuary cities, in my opinion, should just be totally defunded. The concept of sanctuary cities is absolutely ridiculous, and the reason why the Kate Steinle situation happened the way it happened, the reason why she unfairly died in the arms of her dad in her own country is because of sanctuary cities, and that's the America that the left wants. That's the America that the left wants. What you saw happen to Kate Steinle is the America that the left, Democratic, liberal losers want for everybody. Open borders. When Donald Trump got elected, we had a bunch of Hollywood hypocrites coming out against some of his issues, and immigration is the big one. For some reason, Hollywood loves to turn these illegal immigrants into sad story cases. Like Katy Perry with her stupid video that she had with Interview, where she's all hippie and like, oh yeah, we should just have open borders, all love and just coexist. Tell that to Kate Steinle's father, who doesn't have a daughter anymore because our immigration policy isn't good enough, because the Obama admin doesn't care enough about immigration policy that they didn't incorporate stricter regulations on it. This is why Donald Trump won presidency. Part of the reason why was because half of America disagrees with open borders. It's dangerous. It's idiotic. And if it weren't for sanctuary cities and horrible border patrol, or not border patrol, the border patrol, they have a hard job. It's not border patrol's fault, but the fact that our immigration policies are not strict enough is a reason why Zarate is not guilty of killing someone. It's absolutely bogus. Zarate has been deported in the past 5 times. Now he's facing his 6th time. And he has a criminal record on top of that. And on top of the fact that he had in possession an illegal firearm, and the fact that he murdered someone, the fact that he can come in our country time and time again as a convict, kill someone in our own country, and then walk away with no murder charges is absolutely ridiculous. This blood is on the left's hands. Democrats, this blood is on their hands. Because they want to accept everybody and they don't want to look out for their own people. It's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. And people still find a way to to take your attention off the fact that we have an immigration issue. And so on Twitter, Shannon Watts, she's one of a group's, Moms Demand is a group that she, I guess, is part of, or that she may even lead. And they're all about the whole gun control thing. And she takes to Twitter after the verdict and says on Twitter, and I quote, "The best way to honor hashtag Kate Steinle and protect the hundreds of Americans who are shot and killed or injured every day in America is to keep guns out of hands of dangerous people. Why are we more upset that she was shot by an immigrant that she was shot and killed? No one's more angry that she was shot by an immigrant over the fact that she was shot and killed. Everyone is angry about the fact that an illegal immigrant came in and killed her. Period. And then you have this idiot on Twitter totally takes this situation and spins a gun control narrative out of it. Instead of saying, she uses the word immigrant. She doesn't even use the word illegal immigrant. Why are we more upset that she was shot by an immigrant? Okay, idiot, she was an illegal immigrant. But she doesn't want to appear racist. I bet she has a huge following. I'm about to go find out. She probably has she has a verification check mark, so she's pretty popular. I'll say that. I don't have one of those. We're not upset that she was shot by an immigrant. We're upset that she was shot by an illegal immigrant in her own country, in her dad's arms, and died, and he got off scot-free. That's why we're angry, Shannon Watts. And you're an idiot to sit there and spin this into a gun control narrative. People didn't like what she had to say. She got some backlash for it. Absolutely horrendous. And the way Democrats flip this to make it seem like it's not the illegal immigrant's fault, and this is how they turn the situation from he was illegal, he killed someone with a criminal record, and how they spin it into a sympathy case. It was the gun that killed her, not the immigrant. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? It was the gun that killed her and not the immigrant? See, that's the reason why I hate the left liberal party so much, is they want no personal responsibility whatsoever. They are one of the sickest human beings I've ever come in contact with, leftists. They want no personal responsibility. Instead of saying this illegal immigrant shot and killed someone with an illegal firearm, they say it was the gun, it wasn't the immigrant. That's unacceptable. Unacceptable. She continued on Twitter. Why is that worse than being killed by a domestic abuser or criminal or any dangerous American with a gun? So she tries to flip it and say, take your eyes off the fact that this was an illegal immigrant that shot and killed her. Why is that worse than being killed by an average Joe with a gun, or a domestic abuse situation where your partner's abusing you and they kill you, or a regular criminal? Why is it worse? You know why it's worse? Because the guy snuck into our country 6 times. And the reason why it's worse is because you and your stupid Democratic left-wing bullcrap says that everything is racist when we want to tighten up immigration control. Yes, being killed in a domestic abuse situation is horrendous. Being killed by an average Joe with a dangerous American with a gun is horrendous. Being killed by a criminal is horrendous. Why is it worse? Because someone who doesn't belong in our country in the first place with a already heavy criminal record is the one that took her life. That's why it's worse. I'm still in shock that he got not guilty. I'm really in shock. This person that goes, or actually Justin T. Haskins on Twitter, I don't really know who that is. He has a blue check mark, so I'm assuming he's important. He responded and said, Shannon, the criminal who shot her, should have never been here. I'm not a racist. I am married to a freaking minority. The point is that this is about illegal immigration. It isn't about gun control laws. Wake the hell up. And he's right. What the left does is they say, oh, since you want stricter immigration, it's because you're racist. And that's the narrative that the left spins over and over and over again. And that half the country is duped in believing that. The other half are much more smarter, which is why Donald Trump is in office and not crooked Hillary. They want to turn the fact that you're concerned about illegal immigrants coming here and hurting us. They turn that thought and they turn that into saying, well, you're racist because you think that way.
No, I think that's something that they may do later.
That's why we have sanctuary cities.
All right,
that's what's happening in the hallway. I mean, this is a stunning verdict that we have in the Kate Steinle murder case. It is obviously a heartbreaking verdict for the Steinle family. The only charge that he was found guilty of was felony possession of a weapon. Mark Eiglar's your reaction.
Title of sanctuary city.
Say it's just so ironic that someone who's not from here gets the benefit of reasonable doubt, the burden of proof, all these wonderful cherished freedoms, and I think that's what saved him. The prosecutors had the burden of proof. The defense put on experts that they probably, thought would advance the defense's claim. And the jurors just were not convinced beyond a reasonable doubt. That's how it works. The jurors can say, we definitely believe it was probably murder, and that's not guilty.
But it's not just her.
So the immigrant benefits under our criminal justice system like every single defendant, which is fair. That's how we treat people.
Everyone was freaking out. Everyone was outraged.
All right, let's go to Claudia Cowan, who has been watching this trial play out over the last several months. Claudia, stunning verdict tonight.
And you look at everyone who identifies
just astounding. But what did I say? Keep an eye on Matt Gonzalez. He is the chief of public defender here in San Francisco. Was a running mate of Ralph Nader's in the 2008 election. This guy really knows his stuff. He put on a brilliant case because he said over and over again, this bullet ricocheted, and but for that ricochet, this bullet would have missed Kate Steinle by 78 feet. He claimed that he found the gun wrapped in a T-shirt under the bench, and also what Matt Gonzalez did was he showed surveillance tape, granted very grainy surveillance tape, of people who had gathered around that same bench on that pier about a half hour earlier, and he built the case that these people were acting suspiciously, and possibly they left the gun there. What the jury did not hear was any testimony about Garcia Zarate's criminal record or the fact that he was a multiple felon and deportee. None of that came into this case. They only had the evidence to focus on, and it was almost all circumstantial. Again, no motive. He didn't know Kate Steinle. There were no eyewitnesses to this shooting. And again, this bullet ricocheted. So Matt Gonzalez, I think people are going to be talking about this case that he presented. He certainly made this defendant not into a scary illegal alien that had crossed into this country repeatedly and had a criminal record, but a sympathetic figure, a hapless transient who was homeless and on this pier and just happened to come across this gun. It'll be interesting to talk to the jurors, Martha, I'll tell you that.
Her blood is on their hands. Every single one of them. Sean King, Stephen Colbert, everything. Jimmy Kimmel, after the Vegas shooting, which was terrible, cried his eyes out on his own show and talked about how awful it was. But he didn't come out on TV and say anything about illegal immigration and how he got off not guilty for killing a U.S. citizen. He didn't cry his eyes out about that. Did you, Jimmy? No, you did not. Attorney General Jeff Sessions made the following comment. It's just amazing to me why any city would not want to rid itself of criminals who are also in the country illegally. And he's talking about sanctuary cities. Places like San Francisco, and if you just Google search list of sanctuary cities, you'll see every single city that gets listed as a sanctuary city. It's absolutely ridiculous. You're probably wondering, well, what's a sanctuary city? Essentially what a sanctuary city is there are cities within the United States and within Canada, because go figure, is a city that essentially it limits its cooperation with the government effort to enforce immigration law. So like it's pretty much a safe house for illegal immigrants. That's what sanctuary cities are. So if you ever heard about, if you ever heard anything about sanctuary cities and you're like, well, I don't understand fully what a sanctuary city is, that's what it is. It's pretty much a city that doesn't get too involved with the federal government about immigration laws. This case should wake people up as to why Donald Trump and half of America want strict immigration laws because we are losing lives. There was just a story a couple weeks ago about the MS-13 gang who lured a guy into a park, cut off his head, stabbed him 100 times, cut off his head, cut out his heart. There was a grave pre-dug for him. They kicked him in the grave. They threw his heart in there with him. And the illegal immigrant was responsible for that. Miguel Angel Lopez Abrego. Absolutely horrifying. This is what's happening because of the fact that we don't have stricter immigration laws, which is why Donald Trump wants to, wants that wall. At this point, I don't care if the wall is paid for by Mexico or by us. I want extreme immigration laws. When we're being killed by people who don't belong here and they're getting off not guilty, that's unacceptable. Donald Trump took to Twitter after the verdict, and he intervened and gave his words, and he said, and I quote, "A disgraceful verdict in the Kate Steinle case. No wonder the people of our country are so angry with illegal immigration. The Kate Steinle killer came back and back over the weakly protected Obama border, always committing crimes and being violent, and yet this info was not used in court. His exoneration is a complete travesty of justice. Build the wall," in all caps. People need to wake up. It's not about being a racist. Immigration laws and immigration policy is not about being a racist. The reason why people associate racism with immigration policy is because the left-wing media, the liberals, social justice warriors, and Democrats, that's all they care about is race. Race and gender is all they care about. They don't care about morals. They don't care about values. They don't even care about logic. Half their values and beliefs are stupid and illogical, and they get people killed. You're so scared of offending illegal immigrants because you're afraid of being viewed as racist. While at the same time, the citizens of the country that you're living in are dying, getting their heads chopped off and their hearts taken out and thrown in a grave, being shot in her father's arms, and then her last words are, "Help me, Dad." We need stronger borders. We need stricter borders. We need to be a country that does not allow illegal immigration. You want to come to this country, then great, but do it legally. If not, you need to stay out. Stop killing our people.